hello and welcome to yet another super bonus episode celebrating us reaching 100 episodes. We could not be here without the fantastic and ongoing support of you, our loyal listeners. And doing the heavy lifting behind the scenes are our wonderful and extremely generous Patreon supporters who have helped us to get here where we are today. Thank you one and all for your ongoing support. And of course, let's not forget our fantastic sponsors, SMS and Fine Scale Modeler. So in this special bonus episode, we're going to be talking to the boys from the Plastic Posse Podcast, Scott, Doug and TJ. Let's get on with the show. And hello and welcome to another one of our 100th episode specials. And this time we have the Cowboys from the Plastic Posse Podcast. We've got Scott, Doug and TJ. G'day, gentlemen.
How are you, Godfather? Hey, Ian. Hey, Julian. How are you guys?
We're great. Good to see you.
I'm glad you don't call me a godfather. That makes me a bit uncomfortable.
Well, it's really good to have you guys here to help celebrate our 100th anniversary or episode. And you guys have exploded on the scene just in recent times and took the whole modelling podcast in a different direction with especially the way you concentrate on stuff like science fiction and Warhammer and that, as well as covering the normal sort of modelling stuff, but you've really sort of gone to the left field, which I think is awesome. And you've been a breath of fresh air to the podcast scene, so well done, guys.
Oh, thank you. Thank you
so much.
Yeah, we felt like you guys really had set a great precedent, and you guys covered traditional modeling really, really well. And of course, Plastic Model Mojo and Scale Model Podcast, they're fantastic too. And we thought, there's probably a couple of areas that we're all really interested in and passionate about, and thought maybe we could add to the mix a little bit.
Well, you've certainly done that. How are your numbers going? Good?
Really, really good. And obviously we owe you guys a lot of thanks for that. You guys have a lot of listeners that have kind of transferred over to us, and we really, really appreciate it. So yeah, it's been phenomenal, really.
It's all part of being part of the modelling community. We're all here for each other, aren't we?
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, and the models.
Oh, yes, of course.
Well, none of us have a fan club like Julian, That's what we're all striving for. So
really, I'm trying to get rid of the fan club myself.
It just doesn't sit well with him.
Yeah, he's a very modest sort of chap, and it doesn't sit well on his shoulders, does it, being so famous?
No, not at all. And we rib him about it all the time.
It's kind of like finding out that there's a secret cult out there.
Dedicated to you.
And they worship like iconography of you, and it's all kind of they meet in the cave underneath the city, and they've got the cloaks on, and you're telling them to knock it off, but they're too into it.
That's it, Julian.
I just got a mental picture of these little basement sort of hobby rooms with a picture of Julian above the work bench.
And for you Warhammer 40k guys, he's just like the Emperor of Mankind.
Oh, you stop that, all right? I've had enough.
He does not want people to follow him, but what the hell, we will.
what chapter are you on in the book that you got of things to end the show with there, Julian?
I took that home with me because that was when we were in lockdown. So I had. Is it here?
Yeah, it's still here.
Or is it still? Okay, it is still here.
Book of catchphrases, which came from Tony.
I thought I took that home with me or something.
Hey, you're gonna now. You don't have a choice.
Around this thing.
He's got to find a good catchphrase.
It's a book of cringe is what it is.
Hey, you guys, we're hoping to get over to the States next year, provided, of course, that we're allowed to travel. And we're really excited about perhaps getting to Las Vegas next year. Are you guys planning on heading down for that?
Yeah, absolutely. Doug and I are just, 6 hours maybe north of Las Vegas, and TJ, we'll arm wrestle you somehow to get you out here as well. So.
Oh, you don't have to convince me to go to Las Vegas. I used to live there, so I'm keenly aware of the allure of that city. So,
The pitfalls.
yes, I do plan on going, even though it's a little bit further a trip for me, but I plan on going. So,
Hang on, it's a further trip for you, really?
yeah, I live in Virginia on the East Coast,
Oh, let me
so
think
it's
now.
like
East Coast to the
4.5
West Coast,
hours.
balanced against flying right across the Pacific.
yeah.
And you're complaining?
I meant for our podcast.
Yes.
I'm a little bit further away. Yes, you guys are still much further
much,
away.
much further.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes,
Absolutely.
unfortunately, we come from the future.
Yes, I was explaining that to my younger daughter this afternoon or
Yes.
this evening, really. She's like, "Wait, what time is it there?" I was like, "Well, it's tomorrow." And she's like, "What?" Like, yeah,
And
I
it's
don't
a
know. So maybe
weird
that's just how it works.
It's a weird concept, isn't it?
And coming from the future, we can assure you that the world is still turning on the 28th of November.
Yep.
The
Good
sun
to know.
came up. No more catastrophes.
Is that a good thing, though? The way this year's been going?
Yeah.
Well,
who
it's
knows?
interesting, it's funny because as much as the year has been a real crap year globally, for the hobby, it has been a sensational year. Putting aside we haven't been able to get out to shows, I reckon so many people are building and so many people have come back to the hobby
yeah.
who perhaps wouldn't have had the time to in the past. And we've seen anecdotal evidence of that where Revell, for example, have said that, they sold out on Amazon, I think. All the kits sold out on Amazon.
Yep.
Hornby have posted a record profit. And again, the anecdotal evidence we've got from all of our model shops, certainly here in Victoria, they've been doing a roaring trade with mail orders. So I think in some respects, scale model guys are the best ones to ride out an apocalypse.
Oh, yeah, we are.
Yeah, I think modeling is very COVID friendly. But yeah, I think it's been actually good for our podcast because I think the part that I miss is the social part, going to the model shows and going and hanging out with your buddies at the shop and telling lies and all that good stuff. And I think the podcasts have almost kind of had to step in and fill that role a little bit as far as that goes.
It's funny. It's something I noticed when I was in Canada, and it's certainly something I'm picking up on what happens in the US. There's a lot more of you guys hanging out at your local hobby store, swapping stories and telling lies to each other than what perhaps happens here in Australia. We don't tend to sort of congregate around our hobby shops as much. I'm wondering if it's because we're spoilt for choice with hobby stores, and I've mentioned this in the past. Taking out the Warhammer shops, we've got at least 15 model shops within a 1.5 hour drive radius from us.
I'd have to go to the West Coast to round up 15 hobby shops. So that's we've got 3 in the state of Utah that are of any consequence.
Yep. Yeah, it's just huge here, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Absolutely huge.
It is.
It'd be like, food critics hanging out at the local McDonald's. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
But it is. I mean, when I was in Toronto, I went to a hobby shop up there, and I was just blown away by how many guys were just hanging out around the front counter, just yakking away and, talking. Where, as I said, here we sort of go in, buy, and sort of get out, don't we? It's not that often we sort of stand around talking.
Yeah.
Ian and I quite regularly sort of go off on little trips to hobby shops, but we sort of just duck in and duck out again, don't we?
Or we get sidetracked.
Well, yeah, we do get sidetracked.
Get seriously sidetracked. Ooh, shiny new kit. Mm. Can I open this and have a look?
Oh, that's, you know what? I've often wondered what the policy is. Because, sometimes they'll let you they don't care if you just open something.
Yeah.
And other times they probably don't want you to.
Well, what I tend to do is I tend to go to the counter and say, can I have a look at the contents?
Yeah.
It's otherwise you're just being rude. If you just open a box.
Yeah, but sometimes the boxes are already open, right?
Yeah, but even still, yeah. It's always common courtesy to ask the proprietor, can I have a look inside?
And that's like going to a bordello. No, I won't use that one. No, okay, I'll step away from that. No, let's. Yeah, you're right. Okay, I'll leave it there.
You're a shocker.
Yikes.
You're a shocker.
Oh, jeez. So, how do you guys know each other? Because obviously you've got one guy stuck over on the East Coast. So that's you, TJ, and the rest of you guys on the West Coast. How did you end up figuring out to hook up together to do a podcast?
Well, I guess my crazy ass. Can I say that on your podcast?
Yeah, you can say that.
Yep.
My crazy ass called Doug and TJ up on the phone one day and said, I have an idea. And, I don't know if they were having a slow day that day, but neither one of them thought it was a bad idea for some reason. So,
I questioned why you would even ask me, because I hate the sound of my own voice, and I never feel like I have that much to add to a conversation. So, he asked me, okay, I'll give this a shot.
Yeah, the truth is Doug and I have known each other for, decades, and we kind of grew up as far as modeling goes. We kind of grew up together, and then TJ, we met online in SMCG, Scale Modelers Critique Group, 2017 probably?
Yep. Sure was.
And we were doing a 45-day group build over there with Will and the guys, and I started working on a Bandai Slave 1, and I found this Orion Paintworks page that TJ does, and he did a Slave 1, and it kind of really inspired me. So I reached out to him, and we've been online friends, since then. We tend to see paint and finish a lot in the same way, and have mostly common interests as far as our modeling goes. TJ, what do you think?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. So, it's kind of random really when you think about it, but I guess that's the way living in the future works. You just meet people on the internet and become friends. Like, yeah. I don't know. It's still kind of, not odd, but just interesting. But yeah, Scott pretty much nailed it. One day I got a message from some guy named Scott, asked me about a model I built, and I'm like, well, okay, I'll tell you about it. I'll answer any question you got. I'm no authority, but sure.
So when you say you guys met on the internet, which one swiped left and which one swiped right?
Oh, you're a shocker, Dave.
The real reason we got TJ, as you can see from the Zoom call, is Doug and I immediately knew we were going to have somebody to be the Ian of our group. You got to have the sexy face of the podcast. So that's TJ.
I don't know about that.
I'm going to say, TJ.
I don't even have a camera for that reason.
I'm going to say, TJ, as I said, you said we're on Zoom. We're just looking at your build room there, and it looks to be like an awesome little man cave you've got set up down there.
Yeah, it's not too bad. I got like 3 of those big paint racks, some stuff you guys can't even see over here, more stuff you can't see over here, more stuff over there you can't see, and then on the other side of this half wall, I got more stuff that no one can see.
Sounds like
I got a lot of stuff, as my wife likes to remind me. I'm like I got a pretty big basement that's clearly unfinished. I don't know if you can tell, but yeah.
Well, there's a nice paint.
I take up most of it.
Yeah.
Well, but hey, it beats my shoebox that I work in.
Poor Ed's got this tiny little room and it's just cram packed full of stuff. In fact, his stash overflows into 3 other rooms in the apartment he's living in.
And now it's actually on the floor. I've run out of room.
Well, eventually I'm going to finish this basement, and I will only have a room, because where I am now will be like the rec room, essentially, where my kids can hang out and play and stuff.
No. You need to fire that architect. You gotta
that architect's me.
That's unacceptable.
I'll have a decent enough size room. It's like on the other side of this camera, so you guys can't see it, but there's a big, just wide open area. Cool. So that'll be 2 rooms, and one of them will be mine.
Nice.
So that's fine. It's more room than I had in my old house, so I'm not going to complain.
So, Ian, I love hard rock and heavy metal music. I understand you might know a thing or two about that.
I love my heavy metal, and when I'm model building, I have to have it up loud. I can't have quiet music while I'm modelling. It doesn't work. I just can't concentrate. It's weird.
What do you listen to? What are some favorites?
Oh, me, I'm classic 80s metal. Like I like me Motorhead, my Iron Maiden, bit of Ozzy Osbourne.
Both good choices.
Yeah, Ozzy Osbourne. Lately I've been getting a bit of Sabaton. You ever heard of those? Yeah, they do a lot of military style heavy metal.
Yeah, they're cool.
Yeah. Yeah, well that sort of genre. Absolutely love it. So of course I've got my official kits to go with. I've got my Motorhead bomber and I've got my my Iron Maiden Spitfire, and so just waiting to see what else is coming out that I can snaffle.
Well, Scott thinks I'm weird because he knows that I really like music.
Yep.
I've got a pretty awesome music collection with CDs and records and stuff, but I don't ever listen to music when I model. And Scott, he's like, "What? I don't understand.
That's weird.
How do you not listen to music?" Like, I don't know. I just don't like doing it for whatever reason. I'll listen to music doing almost anything else other than when I'm down here. I think part of it is I don't have a good speaker for my computer. I don't like wearing my headphones because they kind of like have to stretch over there.
Yep.
And so I'm like, if I'm going to listen to music, I want to hear it out of a good speaker. And I have a nice stereo, but it's not hooked up because I don't want to just put it on the concrete floor. So
no.
Let him have it. Come on, let him have it. He deserves it.
You need your music. You need. Oh, you don't have any windows in your basement, do you?
I've got 2.
Yeah. Well, if they start,
they're over there.
When they start vibrating, you're at the right volume. I don't know what my neighbours must think when I'm modelling.
Well, luckily for you, your modelling room faces out onto a road, actually, with a big swamp on the other side.
Yeah, there's a big swamp on the other side. Yeah. So I just scare the ducks
and the crocodiles and all that sort of stuff.
Exactly. I make it safe for the environment, for the rest of the public around there.
I loved your recent episode where you guys spoke about what sort of gets you going, and you were talking about different movies and stuff like that, and I found myself yelling at the podcast app as I was listening to it. It was a really great show.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. That was actually Doug's idea. He's the one that kind of developed the concept and, did a great job.
And there's so many sort of movies and books and stuff that actually influence our creative juices. And I'm trying to think of some of the ones. While I was listening to the episode, I'm going, what about this movie? And what about that movie? And, of course, I couldn't sort of join in, which is one of the frustrations about, not having sort of talkback radio when you do this sort of thing.
Oh, like modelling subjects, you mean?
Yeah.
Same as I like the old classic 1980s and 70s science fiction book covers. And some of the ideas that, from Foss, the artist, and they come up with. They're just amazing.
Yeah.
I've got a book at home from Robert Heinlein, not Friday, not Strange in a Strange Land. I can't remember the name of the book, but it's got this really cool gold spaceship on it, and I always wanted to model it. But I always felt that my skill levels were never high enough. So that's a possible one in the future to look at.
Nah.
I don't know. That's a dangerous trap to fall into. I do that all the time. Or I don't think I'm good enough to do something when I should just do it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But the one ship I've got to get, I still need to get in my collection is the Rocinante.
You do? I'm surprised you haven't got that yet, actually.
I'm a huge Expanse fan. Read all the books so far. I've seen all the series, and now I just need to build the ship.
Well, it's quite a good series. And I've just watched the last episode of The Mandalorian as we speak. I sat and watched it last night. That's a great series as well.
I've yet to see any of season 2.
Oh, haven't you?
Don't spoil it for me.
I won't.
We'll keep our mouths shut, but oh my gosh, see, episode 5 was unbelievable. So,
really cool.
Yeah. That was a really good one.
I'm sure my wife and kids...
I think I'll wait till they're all released, and then I'll just do a big binge.
There's a way to do it.
The whole last episode, I was like, oh. And my wife and kids are like, what the hell? Like,
I just told
what? They don't like Star Wars like I like Star Wars. Yes.
They just drop a lot of Easter eggs.
A lot of deep cuts and just a lot of, not even really Easter eggs, just well-known characters. And you're like, oh, what?
Cool.
Yeah, they've really done a great job of getting back into the universe. So I think that question went to Julian.
Sorry?
Yeah, Julian, what was the first kit you ever saw that you just had to build?
Oh, geez, that's the first ever kit that I had to build.
That you saw and you fell in love with and you wanted to build.
Yeah, not the first one your parents got you, but that first one that you saw and you just went, wow, I've got to get that.
It might be the Meng Bradley, because that was such a cool looking kit. I'd never built much. I don't think I'd ever. I think that must have been my first armor kit. Actually,
I think that was your first armor kit.
Yeah, and that was a really long and lengthy sort of build.
What Bronco was it?
No, Meng.
Oh, Meng. Yeah, so
Meng, whatever it's called.
Big part count.
Yeah, huge part count. There's something like 300 parts in the turret alone.
Jeez.
Wow, that's amazing.
Oh.
Yeah, because it's got the way they designed it, it's sort of it's got a full interior, right? Mm-hmm. And then you've got the once you've actually enclosed it, you can leave it like that because that's the underlying sort of basic armor type look for it.
Yep.
And then you got on top of that, you've got I think there's all the photo etch brackets onto which the all the explosive reactive armor blocks go onto.
Yep.
And then you got to put the blocks on, and then it just keeps on building up
just
and
snowballs.
up and up and up. Yeah. So it was a really involved build. I mean, it had a full engine. You can't see the engine at all. It's hidden all the way in the corner.
Yeah.
Yeah,
what about you, Dave?
Well, being 56 years old, stretching my memory that far back is really, really...
yeah, that's the thing, right?
Yeah, I know.
I can't even remember. That's why I just settled on the Bradley, because it's I can't remember anything from when I was a kid.
The first two things I do recall from a very young age was I had the Airfix 1/72nd scale Apollo astronauts, and for some reason I also had the 1/76 scale Airfix plastic. I think it was a Black Watch from the Napoleonic War.
Geez, you would have had some great battles as a kid.
I did. I had these sort of Martians sort of dropping in the middle of Waterloo, and it was awesome sort of time. But of course, you tried painting in that stupid Airfix plastic, and it just flaked off.
Oh, that rubber plastic they used to make their figures out of.
Not that I was very good at painting when I was 7 years old, so what the hell.
Yeah.
But from there, I was lucky because across the road from me, I had a family who had three brothers, and they were all sort of a year apart from each other, and we're all sort of pretty close. And we had their whole garage, which is a double port garage, and just use it as our big sort of wargaming room. And we used to buy kits and spend the whole weekend painting them and then setting up and having huge battles, and it was awesome. But I can't for the life of me remember the very first kit I ever built.
I can.
Can you? Tell us.
My first kit was the Airfix HMS 1/600 scale HMS. I've actually got I've found it a swap meet.
The hood, the Ajax?
No. It was a destroyer. I'm trying to remember. I think it was a. Geez, now you got me.
I can remember my first kit,
but I do remember I was on.
You just told us it was the Mung.
No. That was a different question.
What was it?
Yeah, that was a different question. That was the kit I fell in love with.
Oh,
the very first kit I ever built with my dad.
Yep.
Was the Revell P38 in 1/48 scale.
No,
yeah, that was considered a really advanced kit for the time.
Was in what scale?
48th.
Was that the kit that came with the three different versions? You could do the bomber nose, the night fighter, and
that's
the standard?
Right. That's the one.
Yeah, I had that kit when I was a child too.
Yeah.
How about you guys on the other side of the planet? What was the first kit that you guys remember building?
The first kit I remember building was a 1/72nd scale Revell F-15A, and I saved up my pennies and I went and bought it. And when I got it home, I was really ticked off because I opened the box and it wasn't gray; it was baby blue.
That means you had to go and buy paint.
Yes.
Well, you could have done a Blue Angels version of it. How about you, Doug?
Oh gosh, I couldn't tell you the name of the first plane I built, but the first model. But I remember around about the time I was 12, I got it was a 72nd scale P38. And I found at a model show somebody selling the first Model Master rattle cans I'd ever seen. So I was actually able to get decent colors for it. And at that age, my lines weren't very good. The separation between the gray and the green weren't very good, but it didn't matter, man. It was as close as I'd ever gotten to making an airplane look like a real airplane. And I was probably about 12 years old. Couldn't tell you what brand it was.
TJ, you're the youngest one of the group, so you must be able to remember your first one.
Not only am I the youngest one, but I also have the least amount of experience modeling, it would seem. The first thing I ever built, I just pulled up a picture of it because I have it on my Facebook, so it tells you how long ago it was. I built a little plastic Space Marine, and it was like the end of January in 2012, so almost 9 years ago. Now, the first actual model I built was a Fine Molds 1/72nd scale. Oh no, now I don't remember if I built the TIE Fighter or the X-Wing first. I bought both. I don't remember which one I built first. I built them both around the same time. So it was one of the two. Might have been the TIE Fighter first. I don't remember. That one I have. The X-Wing I didn't like, so when I moved, I packed it for some dumb reason. When I unpacked it, I was like, this is going in the trash. So I broke it and threw it away.
It went in the well of tears.
Yeah. I didn't do a very good job. I'm way better at building X-Wings now.
The good old Space Marines. I think every single one of us has at least built one or two Space Marines in our life.
Or maybe not Dave.
No, I've actually... I've built one of their tanks, and I've recently built one of their Orc bombers.
Yeah, but have you built an actual Space Marine?
You don't build them; you just buy them. They're already built for you. You just paint them.
You got to put them together.
Yeah.
No, you have to put them together.
Yeah.
Well, just a couple of arms and a gun, and that's it, and a head.
And clean up the seam lines.
Well,
get out your green stuff and do a bit of modification here and there.
Oh, no. Okay, let's keep that aside. Really. Just paint it blue, right? How about that? Just paint it blue, a little bit of yellow accenting. That's it.
I put a couple of orcs in my orc bomber.
You know what? I should buy one for Christmas. How about
that? No.
That's what we should do. We should have a big, massive Warhammer 40k build off.
Well, hang on, wait a minute.
TJ's already won that one.
Yeah, because that'd be the ultimate way of getting me to finally start my Chaos Warhound Titan.
Yeah. No. Look, if we were gonna do it, right, we'd just pick one Warhammer figure of choice, just a singular one.
Yep.
Something you can just have on its own, and we'll just do that.
We'll just buy a box set of Marines and each take a handful.
Does it have to be a figure? Can I build one of their tanks?
No, it could be a figure. There we go.
You have to remember that Space Marines are basically vehicles anyway.
Yeah, well, they're human tanks.
There's no faces, right? There's no skin unless you wanted to do it with the helmet off, but that's part of their appeal, you know? You don't have to worry about skin tones and crap like that.
And you can make up your own subchapter.
Stop overcomplicating things, right? You just need to paint it blue.
I could do the Julian Jules chapter.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
If that's what it takes to rope you in, I'm fine. I'm okay with that.
Now you've got me thinking. That's a bad thing.
Well, we're already committed to the Musaru Cup.
It's a very cheap build. It's just a singular figure.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep. And what's the purpose of doing it?
Just so you can
fun. How about that?
Yeah, fun.
But dude, I've got so many projects lined up at the moment.
It's a single figure. It's not. It's like an afternoon's work.
We're pushing him. We're pushing him.
Like comfort zone. I can feel it. Oh,
Dave wants his safe space.
All right.
Would you rather me push you to build an aircraft?
Okay, I'm in to do a Space Marine.
All right, we'll get ourselves a box set.
All right, done.
All right.
Oh, look, Scott's got one.
Yeah, see?
That's one of those too.
Is that one of the new Primaris ones?
Yeah.
Very cool. Very, very cool.
I got a whole bunch. Oh, here's one.
Yeah, TJ's finished, 51 of those this year?
Oh,
is that
56.
right?
56.
And what chapter are you doing, TJ?
Here you go. I just finished these guys today. My guys are the Raptors. So they're a Raven Guard successor.
Yes.
Second founding.
Yep, in
For
grey.
any other nerds out there, probably know who they are. And they're olive drab. That's why I picked them years ago, because I like olive drab.
Yep.
They take on a whole different sort of feel when you actually do them in military colors, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I don't go like, I don't know. There's a whole like group of people that really are obsessed with Raptors. They have, like, we have our own Facebook group and everything. I don't run it. I'm just in it. But some people take it to like the next level and try to make it like military fantasy type thing. I'm like, no, there's still like 8 foot tall, genetically engineered warrior monks. So they can still be normal space marines, but also olive drab and not have everything covered in gold.
Yes.
That's how I kind of do it.
Yeah, rather blend into the battlefield than stick out.
Yeah, which they do. I mean, their whole background is actually doing that. That's why they're olive drab.
Yeah.
Because they used to be like blue and yellow, and they changed it.
Do you actually war game with them, or you just paint them?
No, I do. I play.
Yep.
Not as much as I would like, but I still play. I try to play a couple times a month, but I only have like really one friend now. Well, I have 2 friends that play, but one of them moved away. So now I really only have the one friend, my buddy Andrew. So we just get together at his house and for an afternoon, usually on Sunday, throw some dice. It's fun.
You guys have big conventions over there where you can go and war game in. Could we have them over here in Australia? Yeah.
We do. As a matter of fact, there's one. I mean, there's a bunch in the United States, but there's one on the East Coast called Nova Open. That it's probably the largest one on the Eastern Seaboard. I mean, it started, I want to say, in like 2000. It was not that long ago, 10, 15 years ago. I mean, it literally started in this guy's backyard. He just got some friends over, they barbecued and built a bunch of tables to play. And every year it just got larger and larger, and to the point where he's renting out the Hyatt Regency in
wow,
Pentagon City, which is right across the river from DC.
Yeah.
For like 3 days. And, there's thousands of people, and it's like game companies like show off new stuff there. Like it's a legit thing. So
wow, that's impressive.
And then there's like Adepticon, which I think is normally in Indianapolis. I've never been to that. My buddy Andrew goes. And then there's actually one in Las Vegas too, one of the large West Coast ones. I don't remember what it's called.
We have one here called Mini Wars, which I've been to a couple of times.
Games Day. Games Workshop had Games Day. They had in Sydney.
Yeah.
I went to that once.
And there's another big one in Canberra that has a convention as well, a gaming convention. So I'll have to get back to Mini Wars, because it's quite good fun to go there and have a look at that. Because that takes all the different gaming, like World War II aircraft and all that sort of stuff as well, which is really cool. I like seeing how the guys paint up the models and everything.
Yep.
It's awesome.
Yeah, I know at Nova Open, there's like painting classes and seminars about painting. It's pretty cool. I know a couple of people that have taught seminars there, and there's like demo booths and stuff. So you usually find paint and other stuff pretty well priced, I guess. And it's fun just to hang out with a bunch of other nerds.
Oh, always. Nothing like hanging out with like-minded people.
That's right.
Hey, Doug, what gets your creative juices flowing? What sort of stuff are you into?
Oh my gosh. If I can sit down and watch something that I enjoy, if it's military stuff, as a matter of fact, today, the miniseries Band of Brothers was on. I saw a couple episodes of it, and that can get me really, really in the mood to build stuff. Star Wars, anything Star Wars, I'm definitely down for. If I see something that I can build, I want it. I have a couple of the perfect grade Millennium Falcons waiting for me to build.
Not fair. Not fair at all.
Okay. It's different for me. I mean, my kids gave me one, just shocked the heck out of me. I never thought I'd see one. My kids gave me one. I don't think my kids love me
enough to give me one.
Well,
I guess that's my fault.
Yeah. Well, they gave me one, and then I'm actually going to build one for a guy that's a contractor that's helping me finish my basement. So once I have a model room finished with his help, I'll be building one of those for him.
Sweet.
So.
Very cool.
Yes.
Very cool. And Scott, what's your sort of main sort of build? What do you mainly build?
Primarily armor and then science fiction as well. My gateway drug was the old Battlestar Galactica Colonial Viper back in the late 70s. And so love science fiction, but I do more armor than anything else. So
any particular armor sort of period? World War II, modern?
Yeah, World War II. The only modern stuff I really like very much is the Israeli. I like the Merkavas, and a lot of their stuff is really unusual, and I love their approach. But I like World War II, especially Soviet and British subjects, but I like U.S. subjects and some German subjects, but primarily Russian and British and American.
I think most of my armor collection's Panzerjägers.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
That's all I seem to be collecting, Panzerjägers of every type. Oh, and Hanna mags. I think I've got about 13 Hanna mags in the collection now.
They're like a bus with tracks.
No, the Hanna mag, the SDKF 251.
Yeah.
Half track.
251. Not the really long one with the open top?
It's got an open top.
Yeah.
It's a standard German half track.
The really big thing.
No, not the big thing.
Isn't that?
Yeah, Julian, you're thinking of the 7-ton tractor.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
I'm thinking of the standard one you see in all books and movies.
All right.
You know, they were out there everywhere.
Yeah.
And I think they had about 22 or 23 versions of the SDKF 251.
See, that's why they lost the war. I mean, all these different versions they kept having all the time.
Yeah.
Come on.
It's crazy, isn't it?
It is. I mean, look how many different versions of Tigers they had, and they only built, 1,200 of the damn things.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, but there's a model of all 1,200.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And
Did a
more.
Dragon model of Dragon 1943, July 3rd, built by Brutus and Pete.
Yeah,
You know?
yes, exactly. You got hit the nail on the head.
Well, I've actually got quite a collection of armour in my stash because my intention is to build every major tank that the Australian Army ever used, going from World War I all the way through. So I'm slowly collecting them all. I'm in the middle of building a Centurion at the moment, which is driving me nuts. So I'm looking forward to the new IFE Club version in 1/35th scale, because I've got the old, what was the Centurion I got?
AFE Club.
No. Oh, it is the AFE Club.
Yeah, because I've got exactly the same kit.
They've got a new one out now, haven't they?
I have no idea.
Is it AFE Club or a different manufacturer?
I have
got
no
the
idea.
Centurion. Yeah, I can't remember. Anyway, that's what I'm sort of tracking along with my armour and slowly building bits here and there. But I'm on a bit of a space kick at the moment, so I'm currently building the Apollo and Lunar Lander at the same time, and I've got my big Saturn to build eventually in 1/72nd scale. That's going to be my Opus Magnus. Is that the right Latin word?
Isn't it magnum opus?
Magnum Opus. Thank you. See, Julian knows the English language or the
That's Latin.
Latin language.
Well, that's why he hasn't read his book on catchphrases. He's reading too much Latin.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it. That's a good excuse.
Oh, gee, that's so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so fun. So yeah, as we started off saying, we hope to be over there for next year for your big modelling expo at Vegas, and all things being equal, so long as a vaccine is available, we will then be allowed to travel. I'm only planning to head over for about a week or so, just for the show and head back. But these two great crazy guys are sort of thinking about maybe trekking across the US to different parts of it, I think, aren't you?
Well, there's places to see. I'm not just going to go there for one thing. I'm going to go there and go see museums and actually see the Grand Canyon with my own eyes.
Yeah, been there, done that.
I haven't.
No, I'll do it from the north.
I don't care which way I'll do it as long as I'm there.
I'll tell you what, there's some awesome places in Utah as you go through. What's that not Monument Valley?
Yeah, Monument Valley is right on the border of Utah and Arizona.
And there's another
And
park
Where
there.
a lot of old Western movies were filmed at Monument Valley. Zion National Park is right inside the border.
Yes, and you can drive through Zion without even getting out of your car, and it is gorgeous.
There you go.
Yeah, we have
me
five national parks here. There's a lot of great scenery to see here. And if you headed north from Vegas, you'd hit, if you planned it right, you could hit the Grand Canyon and then come up through Utah and see Bryce Canyon and Zion and Capitol Reef National Park. And then on the east side of the state, Arches and Canyonlands National Park. So it's a beautiful state. And if you love to mountain bike or rock climb or, anything like that, it's even better. And the nice thing about Utah is everything in our outdoors won't kill you like down in Australia.
but we don't have bears.
Yeah. Bears scare the hell out of me.
All the only bears we got are little ones that yell at you from trees.
And the beauty about the US, it's so cheap to hire a car. So you can hire a car for about 2 or 3 weeks. It costs you next to nothing. Just drive yourself around. You don't self-paced holiday.
You just buy a second-hand one and drive around and then get rid of it at the end of the trip.
Yeah, and then you break down somewhere in the godforsaken middle of nowhere. And then
which is like 90% of the country.
And then you'll see this old pickup come along with a guy in a bib and brace. No, I've seen the movies, dude. You don't want to do that.
It is fun to drive across the country. I've done it quite a few times, like from coast to coast. It's pretty neat. We did it a bunch when I was a kid. I grew up in Virginia, and our vacation would be to drive from Virginia, where I live, which is close to the ocean, not that close, but a couple hours. We would drive to Las Vegas, sometimes to California, and then back. It was fun.
So how long would that take?
Well, you can make it take as long as you want.
Yeah.
So we made it take 2 weeks, but I mean, you can get from when I moved back home from Las Vegas to Virginia, it took me 2.5 days, but my dad and I drove like 16 hours a day.
Yeah.
It was like, I think a little less than 2,500 miles. So
that's a pretty good effort.
And the hotels,
there's more than one way to go too.
Yeah.
What's that?
The hotels are really cheap too along the road.
Yeah, for the most part.
To get a really cheap
the southern way isn't as entertaining because there's not much there. I mean, there's not much there in the northern route either, but there's a little less.
Yeah.
You want to see 500 miles of cornfields? Go through Nebraska.
Yeah, I've been through Nebraska. It's the most boring part of my trip ever. Excuse those people who live in Nebraska, but God, it's just flat and there's nothing there.
Well, Oklahoma's the same way.
3 listeners.
Just lost the whole state of Nebraska.
Well, God love them. They're wonderful model builders and everything, but gee, it's just flat and open there and just goes on and on and on.
Well, we got the same here.
We do, but you expect that here. Kinda.
You do?
Well, flat, middle, open. You drive across the Nullarbor, man, from here to Western Australia. There's
nothing
flat
there.
And nothing. That's nothing.
There is not even a tree for hundreds of miles.
In fact, there's actually the highway that you can call it a highway. It's only a single 2-lane highway that goes from the east to the west. But because there's nothing in between, there's 2 parts of the highway that are actually technically also runways for aircraft to land at because there's nothing else out there. Which is really amazing.
Yes. And I remember
what does that traffic signal look like?
Well, yeah, I think it's a big sign that sort of flashes and just says duck. Oh, jeez.
And I think there's only was only in one stretch of like about 300 or 400 miles. There was one tree, and that tree is no longer there because some idiot crashed into it.
Yes, that's right.
It's a straight line that goes for like 600 miles, and this guy managed to hit a tree.
Oh man. So we're pretty excited about getting over there for that. So hopefully, as I said, everything all falls into place and. As soon as they release that vaccine, man, my ticket's going to be booked, and I'll be there. So we look forward. We all look
forward to having you guys over.
Oh, we all got to catch up.
I will warn you. August in Las Vegas is not a cool time of year.
No,
it's blisteringly hot down there.
Oh, we're used to heat.
I've been in Vegas in the middle of summer, and man, it is soul-sappingly hot.
Yeah, and in August, it's also humid there, which sucks.
Dave,
that makes it worse.
I spent a few summers in Mildura.
Well, that's a point too. That gets pretty hot
That
up there.
gets up to, close to 50 degrees Celsius.
In some places, yeah.
And I'm not sure that works out to be Fahrenheit, but it's damn high.
Pushing 114.
Yeah. It's like.
I mean, I remember when I was living in Las Vegas. I think it was the summer I moved. I was at work on an open deck because I'm a pipe fitter by trade, and it was hot. In the middle of the summer, it was like into July. I was like, this sucks. And I got off work. I'm like, yeah, that was like the worst day ever. And I was driving to my girlfriend's house and I drove past a bank. This was before I had a car with a thermostat in it. And it was 115. And I was like, why did I decide to do this for a living? What the hell is wrong
what's wrong with me? Yeah.
20 years later, I'm still doing it. So clearly I didn't listen to my old self.
Except now you're doing it on the East Coast where it snows.
Yeah, I wish. No, it doesn't. At least where I live.
Oh, okay.
There's like an actual phenomenon. They call it the DC snow hole, because if you look at a snow map for whatever, it's some atmospheric reason with the way like the jet stream or some whatever works. I don't know. I'm not a meteorologist, but it will snow all around DC except like in DC.
Oh,
so you go an hour and a half north, and you've got a storm will dump 2 feet, and then we'll get like 10 flakes.
No, that's all the hot air. That's all the hot air coming out of Congress and the Senate that's causing that.
Oh, no doubt.
Well, I wish it went the other way because it affects me because I love snow and it never snows here. Well, I say it does, but
very rarely.
Not like I wish it. Probably not like it does at Scott's house.
Yeah, we're 4,500 feet above sea level here, so we get some snow every year. Some more than others, and then we live right at the base of mountains, which are sorry, we're using old English measurements, but we live at the base of a mountain range that's 12,000 feet high mountain, so we always get snow.
Gee, I remember driving through Colorado and we went over this mountain, and I think the top elevation was about 10,500 feet or something. There's a sign there. So we pulled over and jumped out and sort of just to see what it was like at that sort of altitude. Not that it made any sense because I was in the car and it wouldn't make any difference, but I had my photo taken next to the sign because I thought it was pretty cool.
That's pretty high.
Yeah, it was. I got a nosebleed.
Yeah, we don't have anything that high here.
No, we don't.
This country is pretty flat.
Yeah, it's very flat, and it's there's.
Our tallest mountain's Kosciuszko, and I think in America they'd class that as a hill.
Yeah, and it's funny because you go. I travel to Europe or the US, and there's things there that are, well, especially in Europe, things that are hundreds and hundreds of years old, and buildings that are still standing. I mean, in here we come across a building that was built back in 1850, and we think that's that's old timey.
Yeah,
old timey. That's right.
You're using Julian's word.
Yeah, I know. It's funny. We just prior to this one, we just did a episode 98, and we're talking about, Ian and I were saying people should make a drinking game out of it. Every time Julian says old timey, they should take a shot.
The same as every time Dave butchers the English language.
Oh, so everybody'd be drunk.
Exactly.
We'd be at the hospital getting our stomach pumped.
I listened to that episode while I was at the gym running on the treadmill, and every time you said I giggled, and I'm sure all the other people in the gym were like, what the hell is that guy listening to? I'm like, oh, if you only knew, you would look down on me probably even more than you already are.
You can just say to them, oh, it's really in depth, you wouldn't get it.
Too true.
Oh, geez, that is rich.
Oh, yeah. That's what we're here for, Dave.
Oh, it is. It is. Absolutely. So what do you guys got on the bench at the moment as we're coming up for the hour on this little episode we're doing? We'll start.
I've got that Ryefield Models T34 85 that is slowly happening. But the thing that I finally got going and I'm really excited about is a Bandai speeder bike with a Biker Scout.
Oh, very cool. Hey, Doug, I've got the same tank. I'm part of the same build group, and I've got it all painted up, and I was doing those stupid Lincoln length tracks, and I cracked it and ripped a lot of tracks off and threw them in the well of tears, and I'm waiting for some individual links to arrive so I can just finish that off.
I wouldn't even know what to do with those. I'm not an armor guy. This is the first tank I've built in a long, long time. I mean, I did start a Sherman, but for the most part, I just don't do armor.
It's a great little kit from Ryefield Models, actually. It's not bad at all. I've got to say I'm quite impressed with it.
Then why'd you throw the tracks out?
Because the tracks are, well, either I'm crap at Lincoln lengths or, yeah, I'm crap at Lincoln length. So, yeah.
Yep.
I love doing individual links. I reckon that's just the way to go.
Like metal ones or plastic?
I don't care either one. I like the metal ones because it gives a bit of weight to the model when you pick it up. But I'm just as equally happy doing the plastic ones as well. How about you, Scott? What's on your bench?
So the same T3485 that we're talking about. It's a really, really great kit. And actually threw this little guy together. It's one of those little Mang tune tanks. And, you know, I've always kind of laughed at them, but I wanted a model that I could use for chipping practice. So I'm going to do a little Operation Cobra M4A1 on the tune tank and then use it to practice my chipping. And it was actually a pretty fun little build. Did some texturing and reshaped the shovels. For some reason, they made the spades on the back of the tank square. So I reshaped them to look like U.S. spades and a couple things like that. But fun little build.
Oh, I've got to get my hands on one of them because they look like a fun build. They really do.
And you can now get character figures for them too.
Like pass.
Animal characters.
Yeah, pass.
I actually saw like a little diorama made up where someone had crafted up some
minions.
No, like basically.
No, I was seeing someone doing with minions.
No, they were like caricatures of like politicians, you know. So they were like, I think it was like something like Stalin driving the T-34, and he's chasing down Hitler, who's on foot. So it was really like a political cartoon.
Yeah, it was a propaganda piece.
Mm.
Yeah, it was quite like he'd done a really nice job. So it looked really looked the part, like a 3-dimensional version of a political cartoon. So.
Oh, very cool.
Very cool. TJ, what do you got on the bench?
I also have the T3485. This is as far as I've gotten. As you can see, it's just the hull with the suspension swing arms put on.
Yeah.
Even though I'm pretty sure it was my idea to let's all build this kit.
Yeah, it was your idea.
Yeah, you can see how far I've gotten.
Yep.
And other than that, I mean, I've got the Tamiya KV1 still sitting back over there. You probably can't see it in the screen. And then back over here is a whole half an army of Space Marines. So because my goal was to finish my Space Marine army this year, and I've gotten close. I mean, it's technically done. I have enough points to play, but I want it done, which is not going to happen. But
yeah, especially if you start looking at Forge World stuff.
Yeah, I've got a little bit of it, but
that stuff is so
a little
expensive.
risk for my blood.
It is so expensive. Oh.
Especially for you guys in Australia. I feel sorry for you.
Well,
I've seen the Australian prices on stuff. I'm like, what?
Well,
what?
I
thought we paid a lot.
Yeah, I can safely tell you that the Warhound Titan, when I bought it, cost me over $1,000.
Oh God! Oh
wow.
My God!
But you get a lot of resin.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do.
A lot of resin.
That is a large model.
It is a very large kit. Yeah.
And listeners can now understand why Ian isn't married.
Yeah. Yeah, what woman would put up with that? I can barely afford to look after.
You're going to have $1,000 in that B-26, right?
Oh, geez, I tell you what, I've spent a fair bit on it already. And every week I find something else. Oh, hang on, it doesn't have this. I better buy some of them. Like this week I recently bought the new Display scribing tools.
Oh, yeah.
And they are fantastic because they're interchangeable heads. So I can now scribe 0.4 mil all the way down to 0.1 millimeter panel lines.
Nice.
And it's a square shank, or it's a square head, which means you don't get the V cut. It's a flat square cut. And, oh, geez, they're a beautiful tool. But you're paying $25 Australian just for the head each.
Yeah.
So there was $100 for 4 heads, plus the tool, which cost me $30. So, and that's just one part for scribing. It's just, and then when I found out later on, the Marauders got flush and raised rivets, so then I had to go and buy some Archer rivet decals, the dome rivets. Then I'll get to another point. Like tomorrow, I'll be working on it again. I'll find something else. All right, get online, buy something else, and it's a snowball.
It is. It can be a real honey trap, can't it?
Oh yeah.
Honey.
You'll get that one 2/3 done, and somebody will release a brand new tool to Edward.
Exactly what happens. Exactly what will happen. It won't surprise me one bit. But at least I can say I've built one.
Yeah.
Guys, it's been awesome having you on the show, and congratulations to your fantastic show called the Skull. Hang on, let me get that right.
Dave, what are you? Time for a drink. Time for a drink.
The Plastic Posse Podcast.
Yeah.
Which rides into a podcast app every fortnight. And as I said, it's a great show, and you've done a really great job there, guys. And,
congratulations.
Really, thank you, and thank you for your support.
No worries at all.
Always a pleasure.
All right, guys. Well, thanks very much for being with us and being part of our celebration for our 100th episode. And like I said, we hope to catch you at Las Vegas next year.
Definitely.
Sounds good.
We'll have a drink together. And guys, from all of us, congratulations on your 100th episode, man. What an achievement, and great job, you guys.
Thanks very much, guys.
Beautiful. Thanks very much.